तारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी सोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना सोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी सोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना सोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी सोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर जय राधा श्याम सुंदर जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल मायापुर चंद्रा गौर हरि मायापुर चंद्रा गौर हरि हरि बिहारी गौर हरि हरि बिहारी गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय गौर हरि निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय जय प्रभुपा 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 जय जय प्रभुपा साई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् श्री भक्ति शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव मंद की जय अमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगामय यमुनामाई की जय भक्ति देव तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All reached to assemble devotees, Hare Krishna. All reached to assemble devotees, Hare Krishna. All reached to assemble, Hare Krishna. All reached, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Prabhupada ki jai. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 19 and 20. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टाप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी हरि ओम तत्सत् Chapter 2 Bhagavad Gita, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 19. यैनं वेत्ति हन्तारम् यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ नाभिजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते 2.19 ययेनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ नाभिजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते ययेनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ नाभिजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. Or 2 to word translation. Yeah, anyone who enam this veti knows Hantaram, the killer. Yeah, anyone who cha also enam this manyate thinks Hatam killed. Uvo both thou they na never Vijanita or in knowledge. Na never I am this Hanti kills. Na nar Hanyate is killed. Translation by Divine Yesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is the knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. Please repeat. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is the knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. Verse number 20. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya sasvato ayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin bhutva. Sorry, let me move that. Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shasvato ayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shasvato ayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. Word to word translation. Na never, jayate takes birth, mriyate dies, va either, kadachit at any time, past, present or future. Na never, I am this, bhutva having come into being, bhavita will come to be, va or na not, bhuya or is again coming to be, aja unborn, Nitya eternal, Shaswataha permanent, I am this, Puranaha the oldest, na never, Hanyate is killed, Hanyamane being killed, Serire the body. Translation by Divangesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Jai. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. It has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Please repeat. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Try to understand. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yana Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Mande Sri Gurum Denatarinam Paramanandamatavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavanta ki jai. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Thank you for joining. So, we are in chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 19 and 20. So, these specific verses where we are in the Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga, Arjuna, after expressing his doubts, his reasons for not fighting, he sat down. Then he realized his drawbacks or mistakes or defects. Because of the weakness of the heart, he could identify that was the pre-qualification. Then he surrendered to the Supreme Lord and made him the spiritual master. And he asked for instructions what to do permanently, how to get what to do so that he can get permanent benefit, not a temporary one. Yes, Shreyasyan Brohitan me Sishyasteham Sadhimam Prapan. Then Krishna started giving instructions because Arjuna humbly surrendered himself. He wants to improve his situation for the permanent to come to the permanent solution. So then here, so we see that in the Sankhya Yoga. So far we discussed in the Sankhya Yoga, Krishna started giving our understanding. Sankhya Yoga means specifically in this section, Krishna is talking about difference between the body and the soul. So in this specific two verses also, this is the last week 2 verses we are discussing about how the living entity is being conditioned within this material body, how the soul has been embodied. So soul has accepted this body, even though it is eternal. There is no conditioned state for the soul, but it is accepted because of living entity's desire to be separate from the Lord. He wants to be the master and envious of the Lord. So for that reason, soul has accepted this material body. So in that way, so then we understood, we have gone through that discussion why Krishna is explaining that how the soul is eternal, body is temporary. There is no, for the soul there is no change, body is, and then there is no real benefit, it's not permanent, whatever you make the change, it is temporary. So no endurance. This way Krishna started explaining. Then we went through that, it is basically creating an illusion, network of illusion. We went through all the sense objects. The gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. And the bhumi, rapo, analo, vayu, kam, buddhir, mano, yevacha. And then there is subtle body which is of mind, intelligence, false ego. And then there is soul above that. And then there is super soul. Which means indriyani parani ahur, indriyebhya param manah, manasastu para buddhe, parasastu saha. So the first layer is the gross body of these 5 elements. Even this universe is also made up of these 5 elements. It's not that only living entities are made up of. Even this universe is first, when it started, creation started by the glance of Mahavishnu, started with sound vibration. These material 5 elements and its subtle elements. Basically the opposite things. Sound, start with sound vibration with ether, then the air, then fire, then water, then ether appeared. So these 5 elements appeared in that way. So then we see that the senses which are attached to this material gross body and material senses, objects of the senses, which is nothing but the jnanendriyas, which we discussed last week, because aneka chitta vibhranta mohajala samavrata. Because the consciousness is muddied. As the rainwater comes and touches the ground, it becomes muddy immediately. Till that it is pure. But as soon as it touches the ground, it becomes muddy. Same way the living and the soul actually is pure. Aja, unborn. It is a pure Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Even the Supreme Lord is also, as it is mentioned in these verses, 2 verses, we will go into that. But in the previous verses, the main point is the negative points, how the living entity is being conditioned. So far, it is explained, body is temporary, soul is eternal. Now Krishna is bringing the positive point. So the negative points is because of the network of illusion, 3 modes of material is acting on the senses, is like antenna. TV, we used to have antenna for TVs, now no more. Like that, the eyes, the ears, the touch, the nose, the smell, the tongue, the taste. In this way, 5 senses are always having this antenna to get attracted by these various sense objects and being grounded into this network, bounded with ropes of these various unwanted desires. for our own enjoyment, which is causing a great struggle, anxiety and fear and lamentation, unhappiness, distress. So all these aspects, Mada, Moha, Matsarya, all these six anarthas are also coming because of all this. Now in these specific two verses, we see that here Krishna is mentioning actually soul is not killing, and soul cannot kill, neither soul can be killable because it's so small. You cannot even find it, you cannot even measure it, you cannot even see it. Kesakra satabhaga satada kalpitasya. So that's why here it is mentioned, verse number 19, very important point. Who is actually doing this activity? Yayenam eti hantaram. Hantaram means killing, the killer. Yat chainam, the enam means the soul. Yat chainam manyate hatam. So who thinks that living entity the slayer, nor who thinks it is slain, means soul cannot be killed. Neither soul is the one who is killing. So he is telling Arjuna, you are thinking Bhishma and Drona, actually the soul is killing. No, it is not the soul. Neither whoever, Kauravas, whoever is going to kill or fighting in the battlefield, soul is not the one who is doing. Who is actually doing? It is the desire of the living entity, and then affected by the three modes of material nature. Actually, three modes of material nature is the one who is doing, influenced by the desire of a living entity. It is not the desire separate from the Lord. So that is the cause of this, cause of the activity to happen. That doesn't mean that living entity can be killed. Like when you go to a war field, on the war field, the soldiers can kill opposite army, then they will get medal. But if they come outside, out of the uniform, they will not get medal. They will be imprisoned. They will get punished for not doing, for doing the same activity, the killing. Same way the Shastra here, it means, so since it is saying soul cannot kill, so soul cannot be killed and soul is not the one who is killing. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara vimodatma kartaham iti manyate. Living entity is thinking, I am the one who is doing. Because that's why Arjuna is bewildered. He is thinking, I am the one who is going to do. I am going to take a simple activity. I am not going to enjoy. I am not going to get happiness. He is thinking, I am the one who is doing actually activity. But Krishna is saying here, actually, it is because of your impious desires. Desire separate from the Lord, and then three modes of material nature is forcing the living entity to do certain action. Thing he wants to renounce. Then who is doing? He has a desire separate from the Lord. He didn't understand what his Lord wants. He wants his morality and all other things. But that is not the highest dharma. There are many, 20 dharma shastras are there. Niti shastras, Manusam, so many are there. And then above that is the actual dharma. That's why Krishna is telling at the end of Bhagavad Gita, even though he is mentioning here also, that is not the actual dharma. What I say, the pleasing Krishna, the actual duty of the living entity is serving the super soul, serving the Supreme Lord, and fulfilling his desires is the ultimate duty. That's why Krishna is telling Sarvadharman Parityajya at the end. Internal detachment, internally renouncing. That's what. So what it means is, it is not allowing. It doesn't mean Shastra is telling anybody can kill anything. That means you can kill animals, you can kill other living entities, because it is mentioned soul anyway cannot kill, and soul neither can be killed. So what is the problem? We can kill. But Shastra is clearly telling in the Bhagavad Gita. Later on you will see in 3rd chapter Bhagavad Gita beginning, Krishna is telling, because these things, thoughts may come, people may argue. Krishna is mentioning that Ijñāto karmano anyatra lokoyam karmaban tatardam karma konte mukta sangha samachara. If you want to be liberated, you must perform sacrifice for Lord Vishnu. Anything you do in your life, it must be in connection with Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. Otherwise, it will create a bondage. That means we have to take up this birth, death, old age, disease. We have to take this species of material birth. Living 8.4 million, one of the form we have to take. And further, the same similar verse is there, 3.8 and 3.9 and 3.13. Yajna sishtasino santo muchyante sarva kilpi yajna sishtasino santo Santo Muchante Sarva Kilbishay Bunjate to Agam Papa Pachamte Atma Karana. So Agam means simple activity. One who is eating which is not offered to Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, then it is simple activity. That means Krishna is telling later on in 9th chapter, Patram Pushpam Phalam, what to be offered. Is nowhere he is mentioning in the Shastra to offer anything which is especially not vegetarian. Even vegetarian also, people, those who are claiming, okay, we are vegetarian, we don't eat meat. No, they also get simple activity. There may be difference at the level of punishment and whatnot, the reactions, but still it is a bondage, it is a simple activity. Krishna is 3.13 verse. So that way it must be in connection with, it must be offered to Lord, because we are killing even the vegetable also. So that way, so that's why it must be offered in sense. So that's why Krishna is mentioning that. So this verse, it doesn't mean that we can kill or we can do whatever we like. That's not what it means. Now further it is mentioned one important, the next verse is telling, Na jayate mriyate va kadachan nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya sasvato ayam purana na hanyate anyamane sarire. So for the soul there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease. It never came into being because it is eternal. Ajo is just like the Supreme Lord. It is mentioning the last point, last verse is important. Na hanyate hanyamane sarire. And third one. Ajo nitya. Nitya means eternal. Saswata means also permanent, ever existing. It is not a question of when it existed. Nobody can find. It is always there. It is eternal. I am Purana, the oldest. Same way the Supreme Lord is also same way. Ajopisan abhyayatma bhutanam iswaropisan. Sambhavami atmaya. By his own internal free will, he is coming down. But for us, we are being forced because minute we think we are the enjoyer, minute we have enviousness of the Lord, minute we want to enjoy separately from the Lord, then that's when we are in this material world. So we are being forced to take different species of life. We are getting the reactions. We are getting different diseases, different difficulties. It is being forced by the material nature. Three modes of material nature is forcing onto us. So that is what. And then the same similar verse is there from Katha Upanishad. One word is there. Vipaschit is very important. Vipaschit means one who is inspired. Vishesha Paschit means inspired by the inner consciousness. So these two verses are telling, give up your negative attachment, come to the positive, come to the transcendental state of consciousness. Revolutionize your internal consciousness by applying the senses, the same Jnanendriyas, in the service of the Supreme Master, Master of the senses. Like the MRI. MRI means people go for MRI to really go deep in. Externally you cannot see it, but internally they have to really do the magnetic, magnetic something is called. And they look at very clearly inside what's going on within the brain, within the body, by doing the MRI. Same way, by applying this, actually our consciousness we have to internalize, revolutionize or internalize our introspection, our consciousness, our senses in the service of the Supreme Master, Master of the senses, who is nothing but Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Rishi Kesha. So how do we do that? So these are the 5 things are mentioned here, so which is nothing but the first, the vision. There should be a filter. We discuss the negative things. Today we will discuss the positive things. Because here it is talking, Krishna is telling Arjuna, come, be attached to the service, be attached to my instruction. Follow my instruction. Understand that soul is eternal. Soul is always Satchidananda, happiness. It is not about renouncing things. It is about doing activity for the pleasure of Krishna and the spiritual master. It is all about internalizing, utilizing, reutilizing for Krishna's purpose, doing the duty, not renouncing it. So how do we do that? That we will understand here. So the first one is the eyes. The eyes is the chakshu. We mentioned the eyes has to be filtered, the vision. Vision, we can see whatever we like, but in order for us to really develop internalize it, revolutionize our consciousness, then we have to filter it. Just like if we want to, we are most of us are on IT field. What we do in order to for somebody is coming close, or just especially when we have confidential things. For most of the IT, especially in pharma or financial, they have a screen protector for the screen so that others cannot see. You can see, the person can see it, but the others cannot see what is inside the screen because there is a screen protection. That means between the eyes and the actual computer, between the vision, there is a filter, there is a screen. Same way, in order for eyes, whatever we are seeing, there should be a filter. There should be a filter. Means whatever we are seeing, we are not absorbing that within our consciousness by the vision. So then we filter that out. Whatever we are seeing, instead of watching the TV, we may watch still TV, but we don't grab that consciousness inside our senses of the eyes, the vision, and the consciousness. Rather, that's why the more we spend the time, more we filter that eyes, the vision, and spend the time seeing looking at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. I mean, that's why deity darshan is very, very important. So that's why the eyes must be anointed with the love of God. Eyes must be anointed with that consciousness to see the Lord, to see the devotees. So Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochane Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Yam Shama Sundaram Achincha Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. And Mother Suniti is instructing Dhruva Maharaj, the only way you can mitigate your distress, is by serving the lotus eyes of the Supreme Lord. The Lord's lotus eyes, Lord's eyebrows, Lord's navel, Lord's feet is compared with lotus, because lotus is always peaceful. So when our eyes are sometimes, when we get the tears or when our eyes are itching, then we get either put eye drops. In olden days, there used to be one flower, the white flower, and we put little water and put it on the eyes. It cools down and the itching sensation stops. Nandi Vardhana, we used to call. Similarly, there are white flowers. So the lotus is compared like the lotus is always peaceful, so it doesn't agitate us. But the eyes, so in this way, we have to filter our vision from the material consciousness and transfer that into the spiritual consciousness by taking the darshan of the Lord, by taking the darshan of the devotees. That's why we see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everybody every year, 4 months during the Chaturmasa period. He wanted all the devotees to come together and perform during this 4 months period. And it is instruction, Shastra's instruction is, doesn't matter what ashram, what varna, what job we are doing, engineer or doctor, whatever we are doing. During these 4 months of period, we should try to follow this. There is basically more time. Try to utilize more time in Krishna's service. Try to spend some time, use our resources, use our time, use our senses, the ears, the eyes, the touch, the nose, the tongue. So all these 5 main senses. In even the seeing the Tulsi Marani every day, as soon as we wake up, we should see Tulsi Marani. We should offer obeisances to Tulsi Marani. We should take the dust of Tulsi Marani and put our forehead. This is the way we develop Bhakti Unmaka Sukrit. Then we are filtering the vision of the material things. Otherwise, always we are grabbing that consciousness. We are getting the imprints of that unwanted things. We are not filtering it out like the screen filter. So we are saying, or we have the eyeglasses. Sometimes we have a sunscreen filter, cooling glasses. It filters the actual sun rays. It is not giving that so much heat into the eyes. Same way, so we should filter these unwanted things, even though we may see it, but it doesn't affect us. But that should be improved by taking in this way, by worshipping the Lord, especially taking the vision of the Lord regularly. In olden days, everybody is supposed to go at least one time a day, morning and evening. Used to go to temple, doing pradakshina, worshipping the Lord, offer something, whatever they have at home, one fruit or something, and see the arati. So this is the way. The arati is also the same purpose. When you offer the lamp, especially Damodara through that lamp, you have to see the Lord actually. In many temples, there is no light. Now, all so much modernization, but in those olden days, even now in some of the temples, Lord Venkateswara temples, we see that only through the lamp, Lord is lying down as Padmanabha, Ananta Padmanabha, different names are there. So Lord is lying down, and we see they offer the arati. Through that light, you can clearly see the beautiful face of the Lord. Padma Palasa Lochana, it is mentioned. Padma Palasa Lochana, how his lotus eye is so big and so nicely decorated. So beautiful. By seeing that vision of the Lord, then immediately eyes will not so much agitate us in seeing the beauty of this external beauty of this body, external beauty of this material nature, and getting attracted or allured by this. Because we don't have the positive things built up in this, then we are getting attracted by the unwanted things. We are seeing everything for our pleasure, but when we start developing this consciousness, always thinking, seeing the Lord, and seeing the devotees, seeing Tulsi Maharani, worshipping the Lord, seeing the Arati, in this way, then we will not be so much allured or attracted. So this is the way for the eyes. Then we come to the ears. Ears is also very important. So we have to filter the ears also. That is mentioned. Pravishta kannarandhena swanam bhava saroroham. Dunodi samalam Krishna. Salilam yatasarat. As soon as it touches the whatever we hear, the sound vibration, and we are here, the sound is very important. The material universe created with starting with sound vibration. When we sleep also, we may not, all other senses may not work, but as soon as some sound comes, immediately we wake up, even though we may be in deep sleep. So that the sound is very important. So that's why when chanting this sound vibration, the ears, hearing is the topmost important out of all the senses. That's why we use the ear to as well the touch, ear, and the tongue. These three things are important because the tongue is controlling the whole body from top to bottom. The senses, the belly, genitals, the eyes, everything. So the tongue, what we taste, what we chant, these two things, and the ears, what we hear. So these two things, and the sense, the touch. So that's why we take the chanting beads, tulsi beads, and touch with our hand, and then we hear, we chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because it removes all the anarthas. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranasanam. Sarva Papa Pranasanam. Pranamo Dukkha Samana Tan Namami Harim Param. By simply chanting the holy name of the Lord regularly, every day, consistently, constantly, then we'll be able to remove the unwanted things in our heart gradually and slowly. So the ear must be filtering it out. Sometimes what we do, we have to say, mute your line, Prabhu. When we are working also, we mute because our disturbance are coming. Same way, so we put the earplugs. So that means we have to become indifferent. Nirapeksha, we were discussing in yesterday's class also. Sometimes we have to become indifferent. So one time we see that sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also have to hear many times, even the case with Ramachandra Puri, his spiritual master, Madhavendra Puri's disciple, Ramachandra Puri. There are two instructions from there. Ramachandra Puri started criticizing, you are a sannyasi, you are not supposed to eat these many sweet meats. What he used to do, he used to call devotees and then say, take prasad. He used to take also prasad and he used to implore, okay, take more. And then after eating more, then he used to tell him, so this is not the way. Devotees shouldn't eat too much sweet meat, shouldn't eat so much till neck. and this is a sense gratification, then it is not good. In this way, he used to criticize after. Then he criticized even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You are a sannyasi, you are eating more than required. This is not, this brings agitation. You are not acting as a sannyasi. Then Mahaprabhu stopped eating. He was taking only 1/4 of that. And then everybody, all the devotees, obviously when Mahaprabhu didn't take, then all the devotees also stopped taking. And that is one instruction. We'll come to the next instruction when we come to that another sense. There are 5 knowledge acquiring senses. We are talking about how to develop attachment, develop, revolutionize our senses in terms of the positive direction to coming close to Krishna. Last week we discussed the negative things, how to come out of this illusion, network of illusion, to give up things. So here we are talking about how to filter and come to the positive things. The ears must hear the holy name of the Lord. Ears must always chant the holy name of the Lord through the tongue and then hear it. So as we hear, then it must enter into the heart. It should go through the ear holes and it should enter into the heart. Then it will bring a transformation. That means we have to hear with rapt attention. Like how Narada Muni has heard from the Bhakti Vedantis, how he used to touch the lotus feet, and then the touch sensation we haven't come, so we'll discuss that at that time. So in this way, the ears must be engaged in the also always hearing of the Lord. As Shastra is mentioning, out of 64 items of devotional service, there are 5 items very important. That is the hearing, the reading and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Srunatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Yavadran Vidno Surutsata. We want to remove our dirtiness and filter unwanted things, then we should hear regularly. It's not one day we'll hear and next day we'll stop. No, regularly it should be there, so that we, just like sometimes if we don't do the coding for almost a month or 2 or 3 months, then we forget what we are supposed to code. We basic things also we forget because we are not practicing it in the IT job. Same way, so unless we do regularly every day, not that it's not only we are doing, all the 6 Goswamis, and they are chanting Sankhya Purva Gana Nartan Matabihi. The 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana, they used to chant 64 rounds. They used to count the rounds every day. It's not that, because they are not doing 16, they are doing so many rounds, but still they are counting the rounds because they want to be consistent every day. Even Mahaprabhu used to count the rounds. So same way Sri Prabhupada, all the acharyas, by simply following the instruction of the acharyas, we should follow that consistently, whatever we are doing, 1 round, 2 rounds, 4 rounds, and then gradually increase, but not decrease, and it should be consistent. It's the same thing with the reading and hearing also. We should consistently do 10 minutes a day, half an hour a day, whatever it is, and then gradually, slowly increase it. As we filter out these things about hearing the material music and hearing so many things we might be attached to, when we start filtering out, putting the earplugs or the mute it. So by developing the positive taste to hearing, then once we start tasting this hearing Krishna Katha, hearing the positive things about the Lord's holy name, Lord's pastimes, Nama Gana Sadaruchi. This is the quality we have to develop, because that's what, unless we develop this greed for Krishna, there is no other way. It is mentioned, Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavitamati Kriyatam api yadi labhyate Janma Kodi Sukrutabir na labhyate Tatra Ekala Mulyam Ekala Laulyam. Only one thing is there which you can purchase. Only way you can develop bhakti, the mellows of devotional service. Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavitamati. Rasabhavita means mellows of the devotion. Rasabhavitamati. If mind to be attracted or engaged in this mellows of devotion service to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, only way we can pay the huge price we have to pay. What is the price? The price is it doesn't happen after many millions of lives also. Only way it can happen is by the laulyam, greed. So the greed to see the Lord, greed to serve the Lord and his devotees, greed to hear about the Lord, greed to hear from the spiritual master and devotees. So this is the way. So same thing. So we see that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he was traveling to South India, he went all the places. All the places almost in India, pretty much he covered all the way from South India to Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, all the way, then Cape Comorin, Kanyakumari, to all the way to Vrindavan. So pretty much he covered north, east, west, south, everything pretty much he covered. Everywhere he traveled. So many wonderful places has been. So he goes to one of the places called Kurma Kshetra, which is in the southern part of India. I think close to Srikakulam or Vijayanagaram, I think. So where he meets a Brahmana, Kurma Brahmana, and then he starts, he used to feel very much, he was working as a Brahmana, obviously getting his needs, and he has a family, he is to maintain his family, but he was not so happy. He somehow still, his distress and lamentation is there, he was not happy. So then that time Mahaprabhu enters into his house, and then they serve him so nicely, and then Mahaprabhu instructs him. Then he becomes so much attached. He take his washes his feet, take his water and sprinkle on his head, and then feeds him, cooks for him, and then takes the remnants of Mahaprasad. Then while going, then he becomes so attached. Few days Mahaprabhu was there in his house, Kurma Brahmana. Then he instructs to chant the holy name of the Lord. Then he started leaving the house, and then Kurma Brahmana started following. Whatever I have done, it's a simply waste of time. I want to give up this life and then follow you. I want to come with you. I am so disgusted with this life, I want to renounce. But then Mahaprabhu instructed, no. The ideal way to live is use everything. You just go back and perform just every day. Follow your duties, family duties. Perform this chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and distribute whatever talk about Krishna to others, and then offer whatever you have. Every day offer nice food stuff to the Supreme Lord. We see that during the Jagannath Radhayatra time, there is a Balagandi festival, as the Lord is taken on the chariot in the middle of between the Nilachal to Sundarachal. Nilachal is Jagannath Puri, is the opulence, is called Dwaraka, and then taken to Sundarachal, which is nothing but Vrindavan. When the Lord is taken because Lord wants to be with his devotees, he wants to give mercy, distribute his mercy. So that is the first thing we need. Without the mercy of the Lord, there is no way we can progress. So that is a greed. When we have greed, then the mercy will come. So Lord Jagannath used to travel in that way from Nilachal to Sundarachal within Jagannath Puri. Then in the middle area or so, it takes a couple of hours to go from there to, because so many devotees and so much kirtan and so much worship and so many offerings also goes on. There is a Balagandi festival where Lord is offered directly, not inside the temple, not in the closed doors. It is open. It is open. Everybody can see huge items. So many items they offer to Lord Jagannath. So once it is offered, then Mahaprabhu, after ecstatic dancing, and then he sat down, and there is a garden, Jagannath Vallabh garden, I think. Then Mahaprabhu sat down along with his devotees, and so much huge amounts of prasad, so many sweetmeats, so many cakes, so many vegetables, you name it, everything was there. So many types of items, hundreds of items. Then Mahaprabhu himself personally distributed, sat every devotee down. He fed them all of them prasadam, but nobody wants to take without Mahaprabhu taking prasad. So in this way, Mahaprabhu instructed many devotees in this way: be in the family life, be in whatever ashram you are in. You don't give up your family life, you don't give up your duties. Rather, you carry on the duties, but chant the holy name of the Lord, use your senses to serve Krishna, and make sure you offer opulently for the pleasure of the Lord, and then you take prasad, then you take whatever remnants are there, which is offered to Krishna. So that is the actual austerity. Tapasa brahmacharyena samena damena cha. tapasa, what is it? The other words also is there in the similar way. Austerity and the penance must be performed. That austerity is to filter the senses, not so much means not eating or doing nirjal. It is to actually instead of eating anything which is not offered, rather eating only what is offered. Instead of seeing whatever we like, rather we see. Okay, even if we go someplace, then we visit the temples, we take the darshan of the Lord. So that is the main purpose. In this way, we can also go for recreation, but rather than going other places, we can go where like Mathura, Vrindavan. There are so many places. Jagannath Puri. Here also we have so many places. In each and every state, there are beautiful, wonderful temples are there. So we can take that in that way. So in this way, we use filter our tapasa. That is actual real austerity. Is to filter our senses and then use it in Krishna's service. This way, the ears must be filtered to hear about Krishna, to chant the holy name of the Lord, hear about the instruction, hear from the spiritual master and the devotees about the instruction of the Supreme Lord. In this way, he instructed Kurma Brahmana to follow. Exactly, by simply following my instruction, you will be able to deliver yourself and your family also, and those who are following your instruction. So in this way, the carrying the instruction of the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord is very, very important. Otherwise, there is no way we can really filter our senses. The mercy is there within the instructions of the Supreme Lord and spiritual master. Then coming to that is the ears, the eyes and the ears. Then coming to the tongue, which is tasting Krishna Prasad, as we are discussing. Tongue is the biggest culprit. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung Sarira Vidyal Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmani Vaishnava Sarira Avidyajal, because of the ignorance, because the living entity is full of is all his senses, karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, mind, intelligence fully mostly is occupied with so much ignorance. Evam karma manah prayunkte avidya atmane upadiyamane. Avidya means so much ignorance is there. That's why we are not able to filter it. We are constantly being agitated, enamored by this external beauty because of the ignorance. So that's why Shastra is telling avidya atmane upadiyamane. Then Pritirna yavat mai vasudeve. So we have to start developing taste and love for Krishna. Then muchyet deha yogena tavat. Otherwise, there is no deliverance, there is no liberation. There is no way we can liberate our condition, current state. So in this way, we use our tongue to taste and obviously to serve the devotees, and then especially the taste Krishna Prasad after serving the Lord, after serving the devotees. Not that we simply take without. And then when we go for shopping, first we have to see what is fresh, what we can offer to Krishna. Especially Govardhan Puja is coming. How can I offer the best things, best fruits, best different vegetables, variety of vegetables or flowers, the different paraphernalia, whatever can be used, the saffron, whatnot. So many things we can offer in the service of the Lord. And this is the constant endeavor. Like Raghav Pandit is constantly endeavoring to get so many variety of, even though he has his own garden, he used to have his own gardens, having coconuts and having so many vegetables, but he used to always inquire where these nice fruits are available, where these things are available. So always he used to get. In this way, we have to employ our senses, employ our energy. Anxiety must be for Krishna. Anxiety shouldn't be for our own enjoyment. When the anxiety is there because we are trying to invest the time, invest the resources. We want to invest in land, invest in stocks, invest in somewhere. Let me invest in business. Always we are constantly focused about the investing our time and resources and everything in something else which is not connected to Krishna. But the minute we start thinking, first let me invest in Krishna, then if Krishna willing, then he wants me to invest in some land, invest in business, or do in some job or multiple jobs, whatever, then that will help. But first we think about something which we want to do, we want to get for our own enjoyment, then it's not going to work. However, we think we will add Krishna, then it is not going to work. First, we have to submit to Krishna. First, we have to think to serve Krishna. Desire is the first problem. Desire, when we have a desire to serve Krishna first, then all other things can come in, automatically get purified. The desire itself is crooked. Desire itself has some mixed things. It is not pure. Then really it takes long time. It may take many millions of lifetimes for us to really progress, really filter these senses. So the tongue is the biggest culprit. So that's why tongue, only way it can control is we take only Krishna Prasad. That's why this 4 months Chaturmasa period is controlling this, and that's why the austerity is there. That means controlling the senses and eating only required, and reducing sweets. Yes, we can take sweets, but it should be reduced. Lord can take. While offering, Lord, we can offer so many variety of stuff. It is mentioned we should offer at the time of, so even after eating, after offering everything, then at the end, like mukwas, it is mentioned as we offer the lavang and ilaichi, and then with tulsi, we offer, as we see Advaita Acharya is offering to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after taking, and then they perform arati. This is the way. First offering, then arati. But arati is not so mandatory. At home, if you are doing worshipping at home, main thing is as soon as you wake up, washing your hands and mouth, then start chanting. Not so much about let me start dressing, let me start doing this, or take bath, and then actual Brahma Muhurta time, actual important time of mode of goodness is gone in all other things. The first and foremost important for Kali Yuga is to chant the holy name of the Lord. The tongue must be. Otherwise, there is no way we can filter. There is no way we can stop our agitation of our senses, our angriness, our frustration, lamentation, all our desires to serve all other things, not the Lord. So that is the first thing. So that's why chanting the holy name of the Lord or reading and hearing in the morning is very, very important. So in this way, the tongue must be used. Same way, then the sense of touch. We talked about the ears, the vision, the eyes, the tongue, and then the sense of touch, and then the taste. Yeah, the tongue is the taste, and the smell. The nose also should be used to smell the flowers of the Lord, the smell the lotus feet of the Lord. So in this way, or smell also can be. Otherwise, nose is always want to smell so many things for our own pleasure. So that's why we like to smell nice flowers. The rose, we have so much nice garden. We see so many flowers, but we always think about, let me get these flowers for my home, for my wife, for my this, that. But rather we should think, when can I offer to the Lord? When can I offer? Everything is available. Especially when we are in New Jersey, we have jasmine, we have so many types of flowers. It is expensive, but it is available. They are shipping throughout the world. They are shipping throughout US here. So it is just a matter of our attachment. The lotus flowers are there, especially in Kartik. It is mentioned, one who is worshipping, offering lotus flowers to the Lord is definitely will attain the Lakshmi Narayan Vaikuntha by offering the lotus flowers within this month to Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So in this way, always this emphasis is given, employing our senses, so in this way, the smell, always smelling the, just like these 4 Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, they were attached to Brahman effulgence, Brahma Jyoti, but by smelling the lotus Tulsi leaves offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, they became great devotees. They became personalists. They became bhakti yogis. And they were so much attached and attracted by Lord's, by smell of that lotus Tulsi leaves offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. So that's why Tulsi is very, very important, to serve her, to offer Tulsi leaves, to touch, to taste the Tulsi leaves. Once it is offered, we can eat it. But it shouldn't be used as a medicine. That shouldn't be. At no point we should use the Tulsi Marani as a medicine. Many times these days they are using that in India also, here also. They worship, but they don't have a understanding why they are worshipping Tulsi Marani. They know that they will get benefit by worshipping, but that's not the idea. Idea is to offer Tulsi leaves every day for the pleasure of the Lord. That's the only purpose she is there, and to take care of her, to make sure she is properly cared for, like our own kids, our own family members, like our own parents. So like that we have to care for Tulsi Maran. Then she will stay. Otherwise she will not stay. So that's for sure, guaranteed. Because she is there to serve Krishna, not serving us. So that in that way, when we have that desire, sincere desire, constantly thinking how to serve the Lord, without Tulsi, no worship is not finished. Our devotion service is not finished. So we cannot filter our senses without having Tulsi Maran in our life. So that it is so important. So that we can get 4 or 5 plants at home before itself, so that in the winter we can have a light bulbs, extra bulbs, the plant bulbs, so that the plants stay, Tulsi plants, and you have fresh leaves to offer at the lotus feet of the Lord. So Prabhupada has emphasized very much from the beginning. Without that, our life cannot become perfect. So in this way, the smell is very important. And then the touch, and the touching also the lotus feet of the Lord, the massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. So we see that so when he went, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Srirangam, there also we see that Venkata Bhatta was the disciple of Ramanuja Acharya. So they were Valagalai Ramanuja. There are 2 sects in Ramanuja Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya. This is the Valagai section, and his brother was in the other section of Ramanuja Sri Sampradaya. Then he was worshipping Lakshmi Narayan. Then he invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay at his home. 4 months he continuously served. They sprinkled the water on their heads. He used to offer wonderful things for the Lord's pleasure. And he used to always hear from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then at the end also we see that there is a nice conversation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jokingly explains, because he has understanding that Lord Narayan is the highest. But there we have conversation and see that clearly Mahaprabhu instructs him, Lord Krishna is the topmost form of the Lord. And there is not different Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. But the highest form of the Lord is Lord Krishna. The original form of the Lord is Lord Krishna. And then he started explaining why Lakshmi Devi left Lord Narayan, and then why she is worshipping, why she wants to be associated with Lord Krishna. Why she started performing penances in Vrindavan, in Belvan. So then this is the question asked by Lord Chaitanya to Venkata Bhatta. Then Mahaprabhu addressed finally. He couldn't answer why so. Then Mahaprabhu addressed, because Lakshmi, in one sense, there is no difference between Lakshmi and Srimati Radharani. But in order for us, anybody to enter into the confidence, she has to give up the opulence. But she doesn't want to give up the opulence. Lakshmi Devi is in the Aishwarya Bhav. Unless the living entity gives up that Aishwarya Bhav and enters into the mood of the rasa of the gopis, man manaskar tyakta jivita. So always thinking, their mind and senses, everything is absorbed in serving Krishna. That is the thoughts of gopis are always constantly absorbed in that. They are not in Aishwarya Bhav. They are in the Madhurya Bhav. And their cowherd boys are in the Sakya Bhav. And then Yashodama is in Vatsalya Bhav. Not in opulence. Not thinking that Krishna is Supreme Lord. They are thinking Krishna is my friend, Krishna is my lover, Krishna is my son. In this way they are thinking, they have so much loving affection, more than awe and reverence. Awe and reverence will be a master-servant relationship. That's why we see that just like at home, in the office also, and also we have to be careful also not criticizing devotees and the Supreme Lord is also a very important factor. Using our tongue not to criticize. We see that Ramachandra Puri, the second instruction is, he started criticizing. He went to Madhavendra Puri, his own spiritual master, and he said, why are you crying? You think about Brahman. Why are you crying? So in this way, then Madhavendra Puri gets so much agitated. Get out from here. Don't even show your face to me. So then his disciple, another disciple, Iswara Puri, served Madhavendra Puri like anything. He took care of him when he was so old. He was taking care of, cleaning his toilet and everything. He was taking care of personally like a baby. Iswara Puri, then Madhavendra Puri gave him the blessings. He will attain the love of devotion. So in that way, by serving the spiritual master, but not criticizing at any point, we should never instruct advanced devotee. We should never instruct a spiritual master at any point of time. So because that is the greatest danger. So So that's why generally they don't, we shouldn't become close to the spiritual master, because closeness will create a, we will become lenient, we will not be serious, we will not understand the seriousness of spiritual master, relationship between spiritual master and disciple. So then Ramachandra Prabhu Puri in this way criticized or instructed Madhavendra Puri in that way. Then because of that criticism, then immediately Shastra is telling even those who are liberated person, they can fall down. Once living entity criticizes the spiritual master, pure devotee of the Madhavendra Puri is exalted devotee of the Lord, with pure love for God, pure love for the Lord. He is the one who has brought actually Madhurya Ras, highest rasa to this world. From Madhavendra Puri, it started this distribution of pure love for Krishna, conjugal rasa, especially the highest rasa, the highest rasas. So that's why by serving Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri got the love of God, but Ramachandra Puri, he filled with material desires. He was always finding faults. So in this way, then later on also Ramachandra Puri started criticizing devotees. He criticized Jagadananda Pandit, you are eating too much. Then he criticized Ramachandra, he criticized even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Later on he suffered. So because of that, full of materialism. So that's why it is, we have to be very careful using our tongue not to criticize any devotees. We shouldn't criticize anyone. Same way, if in our office, if we start criticizing anybody, your team member or our office manager, how long we are going to stay in that company? We will not be able to stay. That's why they look for whether he will be able to mix with the team, will be able to cooperate with the team, is going with the team or not. That is the first thing they will look for when somebody is interviewing. Same thing with in devotional service. If we start criticizing, finding faults always with the devotees, then how are we going to develop love for Krishna? Krishna will not like it at all, and we cannot develop love in that way. Love means first we have to love his servants, love his devotees first. Then we can develop love for Krishna, because we don't know what Krishna likes. We don't know what Krishna, his leelas, his pastimes, his qualities. So only way by serving devotees, by hearing from devotees, then gradually we will understand about this bhakti tattva, rasa, all these tattvas. Otherwise, there is no way we can understand. This way we have to use our touch sensation, touching the lotus feet of the Lord, massaging the lotus feet of the Lord. So touching the devotees, that's why we see that. So taking the dust, taking the remnants of the Mahaprasad and taking the dust, taking the water which is clean, the lotus feet of the pure devotees of the Lord, Charanamrit, we take taste when we go visit the temple. Charanamrit must be taken. So and put some drops on the head also. So in this way we filter our senses instead of using our senses, employing our senses in the material things. Rather we divert that, filter those senses toward the Supreme Lord, utilizing in the service of the Supreme Lord. So in this way we can perfect our life. Let me see. So if anything I missed. Yeah, we should always be with the devotees. There is one story Prabhupada tells. There are 4 bulls, 1 lion. So there are 4 bulls grazing, and every day nicely they are friends, they are close. All 4 used to go together. They never used to be separate. Used to go together and eat grass at same place. Then the lion was watching, waiting for when, because 4 bulls together means it can kill lion. It cannot fight. So then he started seeing when can I get the opportunity, but he never get opportunity. Then finally he plotted a plan, devised a plan to create a conflict in between them. Somehow he was able to make that. Then the 4 became separate, and then they are on their own. Then lion went and started killing one by one. In this way, so he is able to make. So in this way, Shastra is instructing, Prabhupada is instructing. Though for the devotees, when the devotees are not together, not in the association of devotees, and started finding faults, or if somebody is criticizing, somebody is offending, or we hear always from others, we are always concerned about, somebody said this, somebody said this. So always thinking about others, what they have said. So then it is like material nature is creating this conflict. Material nature is giving that conflict allurement. We are getting distracted in our service to Krishna and spiritual master. We are getting distracted. Our energy is being drawn out. So we have only limited energy, and that also by being engaged, by thinking that, oh, this and that instead of Krishna, then that means we are losing our actual momentum and our energy and our focus, our determination, our enthusiasm. So all these things, so the Shastra is interesting, just like the lion is able to kill by separating them out. The material nature is always looking, the forcing the conditioned souls, forcing even the devotees in the avenues, various ways, through this criticism, through the fights and whatnot, negative things, always finding faults, so many, because that anarthas are always there in the heart, it doesn't go off. So that's why we have to become indifferent. We have to be very careful not to. That's why associate more with those who are attached to Krishna, and associate less. Intimate association, don't take intimate association of those who are always in the negative way, or somehow or the other subdue them by giving them Krishna Prasad, give them the love, or help them out in some form or the other. Always talk to them nicely, some form or the other, so that they don't get agitated by seeing us. So we should always be in a humble state. So that way it helps us, and they will also not so much talk about bad, at least in front of us. So in this way, Shastra is instructing through various stories and various verses. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that. I think I missed. Yeah. So the love is two sides always. Love is not one side. When we are developing love for Krishna, it should be two sides. That means Krishna is always loving, but we also have to develop love. That means we have to have a desire to love him. We have to have a desire to serve him, his devotees. That's why it is called Preetir Vishay, Preetir Ashray. When we have that love, we are the object. We are the subject. He is the object. If we have love for Krishna, then he is also reciprocating us. If we don't have love, we have love for other material things. Vishaya, that's why it mentioned Vishaya Kalu Sarvata Syat. Always we have our senses employed everywhere. All the senses are employed in material things, Vishaya. Then it is everywhere. We see that, oh, what is it for my enjoyment? What is in it for me? In everything we see, even with the devotees, with everything, everywhere we see what is in it, what I am going to get in return. Even with the devotion service, with the Lord also we are seeing what I am going to get in return. Am I going to get promotion? Am I going to get my business improved? Am I going to get this thing, that thing? Always constantly looking in return something, benefits. But rather we should be Vishaya Chadiya, say Rase Majiya. So that means we have to really look for how to associate with devotees, associate with the Lord, to increase the rasa, increase our love for the Lord. So in this way, so we always employing filtering out of senses and using it in Krishna service by serving the spiritual master, the pure devotees. Mahiyasam padarajo abhishekam nishkinchananam na pranityavat. Without serving pure devotees, there is no. It is very difficult for us to really progress in devotion service. So, and then great care must be applied, as what is the name, Maharaj Rahugana. Bharat Maharaj is instructing Maharaj Rahugana. When one who is employing his senses and is applying great care in serving devotees, serving the Supreme Lord, great care, then he'll neglect his mind. Mind will deviate into so many 100 different directions. It will tell you, let's go here, let's eat this, let's watch this, let's do this. So always, constantly thinking, feeling, willing. But one who neglects that mind's instructions, how will we know mind's instructions? How will we be able to know what is correct, what is not correct? When we start hearing from the Shastra every day regularly and from advanced devotees and spiritual masters, then we will know gradually, we will know what is mind's instruction, what is Shastra's instruction, what is Krishna's instruction, what is super soul's instruction, Shastra's instruction, spiritual master, what is our own mind's speculative instructions. Then we will be able to neglect those. Okay, stop. I don't want to do it. Just stop it. We'll tell the mind and then we do what is right thing to do. This way, because great care, great attention must be applied. Otherwise, it is not going to help us to move in the right direction. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Oh, the call got dropped. Hare Krishna, anybody is there on the phone? Okay, let me see. Any questions on the Google? On the Google Talk, anybody has questions?
Today no question, Babu.
Okay.
Today no question. Tomorrow I'll ask 1-2 questions.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just one question, very, very wonderfully you explained. I think, I don't know how long it will take for me to follow all of them. It's so, I think at my position it's very hard to follow them. But I want to follow them because it's just amazing. My question is, we're saying that how we should be humble in front of others, not to agitate them. So my question is, should we not, just for me, specifically for myself, should I not take up any services? Should I not take up any services because that will agitate? I know somebody who it will really agitate that person because I'm doing this service. So should I not just do that, but just follow, just chanting at home and just doing my basic duties as a mother? So that if I do like that, then that person is very happy and calm. So should I just do that? Because ultimately I should please Krishna, and pleasing devotees will please Krishna. So is that the right way, Prabhuji?
No, that's not the right way either. So Shastra is clearly telling, because as we see, whatever instruction of spiritual master comes, whatever devotees or authorities giving service, we should take it up despite so many difficulties may be there, things may not be convenient, and other devotees might be saying so many things, why he is not qualified, why is he doing that service, why he has been given. Rather, we somehow or the other, we include them, or whatever way, we have to find ways, we have to constantly pray to Krishna or seek different instructions from the different devotees, so understand where he is coming from, the other devotees coming from, what angle he is coming from. Then we try our best to see how we can fit that into that. If after a few times still it doesn't happen, then we ignore them. Just like Govinda and Kasishwara, they were the servants. Actually, they both came from Madhavendra Puri. They were the disciples of Ishwara Puri. Same. That means they are the god brothers actually. But they told, Ishwara Puri told while leaving, he told, please serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sarvabhauma Bhattacharyya what to do, because they are my god brothers. I cannot accept service. But then he told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharyya, the highest thing, his highest instruction in life is, if spiritual master says something, then we should act. That takes the precedence, that takes the priority of all things. Whatever we may have inconvenience, that is not that's not in the question at all. So that's why it is mentioned as great care. Maharaj Rahu Gana, Bharat Maharaj is instructing Rahu Gana, apply great care in the instruction of a spiritual master. So that's why Sarvabhauma, yes, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, what you said is correct. So then he started, okay, you serve because this is my instruction of my spiritual master, I cannot disobey it. Then he allowed Govinda and Kasishwar both to serve him. So they used to take care of his personal body, massage him, bring prasad, and then they used to serve also his devotees. Haridas Thakur used to be there, Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami used to be there, and Govinda is always serving all of them. All is also, then only he used to, when Mahaprabhu tells him, you also take prasad, that's when he used to go and take prasad. So he was always waiting for the instruction of the spiritual master. He was always trying to follow as is for his service. At one time also Mahaprabhu was lying down, then to serve him he has to go on the other side to massage his feet. Then he has to cross him and then he goes other side to massage. But at the same time, when he is supposed to take his meal, he doesn't cross, because for his own body, he doesn't want to cross the body of the Lord. But to serve the Lord, then in order for him to massage the Lord's other side, then he has to cross on the other side. So then that time he did. So, but for his own personal purpose, he didn't cross. Then Mahaprabhu was very pleased with his attitude and mentality. So in this way, we understand many instructions are there in Gaur Leela. I'm sure in Srimad Bhagavatam also we can find the examples. So the spiritual masters instruction take present. Let's take example of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada had to go through enormous things. Like when he started initiating his disciples, those who are from, those who used to eat meat, drink, and all kinds of sinful activity. Because in Western world, this is not normal, casual. This is not some special thing. This is everyday people do, because they are not used to it. This is not a Vedic culture. So, but that's what they are used to. Then, so Prabhupada, but seeing the little spark of them serving, the getting attached to hearing or chanting something, they somehow or the other find some attraction. Prabhupada, because a pure devotee, they became attracted. Then Prabhupada started initiating them. Then his God brothers, especially from Gaudiya Math, they used to start criticizing him. And they are the Sudras and they are the Chandalas. They are not. How can you initiate? How can you initiate them? In so many ways, they used to criticize Srila Prabhupada. How can you take Srila Prabhupada's name? That is, that Prabhupada name is supposed to be used only for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. How could you use that? In so many different ways they started criticizing, and so many different ways they tried to bring Prabhupada down. But despite that, Prabhupada never went, because the instruction of his spiritual master is go and preach to the Western world. So that is the only thing he has in his mind. He didn't care so much. Even then also he went and said, can you help us? Can we work together? Can we preach together? He tried his best. Even while leaving his body at the last also he told, please forgive my offenses. Well, so that's why he create this Saraswat Math. I forget the full form. Saraswat Math, to unite even the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Math, and so many branches came, because they didn't follow fully the instruction of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The one personality who has followed is Srila Prabhupada. Out of so many disciples, that's why you see Phalena Parichyate. The result will come when somebody follows the instruction of spiritual master very carefully, diligently, with great care. And then you can see the results. It is not about, that's why Shastra is telling, Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru tatsaiva hi katita prakasante mahatmanam. And that's why we see when Mahaprabhu went to Sri Rangam, we see one Brahmana. He is not knowledgeable, he is not learned, but he was reading Bhagavad Gita back and forth, and every day he was reading end to end, whole thing. Because that's what his spiritual master instructed him to do. And then he's simply reading, and people used to laugh at him. But still he was reading, because that's what his spiritual master told him. You have to read. Even though you are not, you are illiterate, you don't understand, still he used to read. Because he just simply followed. And Mahaprabhu, and they used to cry. Then Mahaprabhu asked him, why are you crying? Then if they are laughing, you are not understanding, then why are you crying? What made you cry? What was or anything particular? Then he told Mahaprabhu, because as I am reading this whole Bhagavad Gita, I see that Krishna is Achyuta infallible and he has taken a chariot driver. I always remember that scene. That Lord is the Supreme Lord, but he is taking a so minute, small position of a servant. Is not a great position to serve his devotee. And see, then I get tears in my eyes by simply thinking how Lord became the servant of his devotee, even though he is exalted position. And then Mahaprabhu, this is the way, this is the quality of devotee. This is what devotional service means. Bhaktya Bhagavatam Grahya na Buddhya na Tikaya. It is not by intellectual, not by our erudite scholarship, not by our money, not by any other thing, only by the mercy, only by purely only mercy of my spiritual master and advanced devotees. So that's why we seek always our blessings from our parents or elders, superiors. Always, we should be always in that mood of seeking the mercy of the, especially the spiritual master, advanced devotees, and our elders and superiors. So this is that will help us to progress, to overcome the obstacles in the path of our, regaining, revitalizing, revolutionizing our consciousness, our senses. I hope that addressed Mataji. Or?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any questions on the Google Meet? I think on the phone they don't have questions. Let's swing quickly Damodarashtakam. Let me share that. Anybody wants to sing? Who's there on the phone? Let me see. Gandharvika is there, Mataji? Okay. I'm sharing those who are.
Hare Krishna.
Gandharvika.
Prabhuji, could you ask for Gandharvika? Yeah, 1 second, Prabhuji. I just went to call.
I'm sharing the Damodarashtakam Namamiswaram. Go ahead and sing. Gandharvika.
1 second. Just getting the phone. Not like that, yeah. So
आनन्दरूपं रसत्कुञ्चलं गोकुलं प्रजमानं यशोदापियलुखलादवमानं परं दृष्टम् आद्यन्तातो धृत्य गोप्या रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्र युग्ममृजन्तं करं भुज युग्मेनास टङ्कनेत्रं मुहुश्वासकं पात्रि लेकाकान्त स्थितग्रैवं दामोदरं भक्तिबद्धम् इति दृक्स्वलीलाभर आनन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमार्जन्तम् आख्यापयान्तं तदीयेषितघ्नेषु भक्तचित्तात्वं पुनः प्रेम तत्संसातं वृत्तिवन्दे वयं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वदिं वा न चन्यं वृणेहं वारि सदपेय इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालपालं सदा मे मनस्य वीराष्ट्रं किमन्ये इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् आद्यन्तनीलैर्वृतं कुण्ठलैस्निग्धरक्तश्च गोप्या मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्ब रक्तधरं मे मनसा विराष्ट्रं मालं लक्षलभ्ये नमो देवदामोदर आनन्द विष्णु प्रसिद्ध प्रभु काजालब्धिमग्नं कृपादृष्टिवृष्याति दीनं बतानु ग्रहरिष मामज्ञं मे द्यक्षिदृश्य कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धं तव यद्वद् त्वया मोचितौ भक्तिवाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकं मे प्रयच्छ नमोक्षे ग्रहो मे स्थिरामु धरेया नमस्ते स्फुराम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोतराय विश्वस्वदाम्ने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाये नमो अन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्.
Jai. Radha Damodar ki jai. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose sharp-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with the greatest speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with rose but his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisance to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Bala Gopala in Vrindavana may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boons beside this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me by showering your glance upon me. Deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in the ocean of worldly sorrows and become invisible to my eyes. O Lord Damodara, just as the 2 sons of Kubera, Manikriva and Nalakuvara were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to all brilliantly effulgent robe which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.